put in this computer. Okay, welcome everyone again to Hare Krishna. We have a good show today. We have 8 devotees. Very nice. It's very good. Thank you for joining us. Brhad Bhagavatamrta.
And I sent the link so late, even then.
Part 2, The Glories of Goloka. Chapter 3, entitled Bhajana Worship. And today, beginning text 153. So remember, it's quite, again, it's a detailed discussion similar to what we heard a few readings back, where there's a discussion about the different angas of bhakti and which is favorable at any particular time, place, and circumstance. So we were hearing about meditation. Now we're hearing about Sankirtana. So there's discussion on the different angas of bhakti. So it gets quite detailed. It was last week anyways. But anyway, let's try our best to understand. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vastaya Vitale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Samti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Vacharine Nivasesha Sunyavadi Pashtatara Satarine. Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so let's read text 153 and take it from there. Hare Krishna. So let's begin reading.
Hi, Prabhu.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead. Oh, you want the book, isn't it? Oh, I forgot to put a book up. Okay, 1 second. Let me get the book out for you. Okay, bear with us. Stay there. Don't worry.
Is it 153?
Got it. Got it now. Got to share the screen. Share screen. Okay, there you go. Brhad Bhagavatamrta is now on your computer screen. Hare Krishna, if you need it. Okay, this is 153. Okay. Go ahead.
153. By Sankirtana, the joy of meditation grows.
153?
153, yeah.
Oh, I thought I was reading 153.
Sankirtana expands the joy of meditation.
Yeah, but maybe my translation is different on the Kindle.
You might be reading a different volume. Sometimes
We're on volume 2, aren't we? Yeah.
Volume 3.
Part 2, yeah.
Yeah, we are on volume 3, I think. I mean, shall I just read? So if it makes sense, then...
Yeah, go on. See if sometimes that might be the case. The editing might have been updated in different editions. So just read the verse.
By Sankirtan, the joy of meditation grows, and by meditation, the sweet joy of Sankirtan. In our own experience, the two methods fortify one another and are therefore actually one.
Yeah, that's the same. There's just one word different.
Oh, okay. Commentary. The Vaikuntha Messenger's own opinion is that both meditation and Sankirtan are advantageous. The two methods support one another, and because one or the other may be more suitable in different times, places, and circumstances, the mutual dependence should not be a cause of confusion. Either may be done separately, but neither, in the end, is incomplete without the other.
Is complete without the other.
Yes, it's complete without the other. Regardless of which serves as the cause and which the effect, the two are essentially non-different.
Okay, so yeah, just thinking we have some examples of meditation rather than Sankirtan. One we have we mentioned this in another reading, it might have been here, in the Nectar of Devotion, we have the description of the Brahmin who is meditating on serving Krishna. Do you know the sweet rice Brahmin? He burned his sweet rice. Yeah, so that was C sadhana, quite a high level of sadhana. So he wasn't chanting, as far as I understand, he was doing a meditation. Then we have Lord Brahma. He was doing a meditation, but he was also, as we discovered today, he was also chanting the Gopal mantra. We have Narada Muni, who sat down for meditation upon the Lord. Yeah. So we do see in Sastra, so meditation, so according to time, place, and circumstance. Yeah. So the two are essentially non-different. Yeah. Okay, you can continue. I just thought I'd mention that.
154.
Yeah.
Translation. Meditation bestows the same joy as Sankirtan. When a meditating devotee directly sees the object of his heart's desire, such a devotee intent only on reaching the one desired object he worships is sure to find spiritual peace. 155-56.
Yeah, go ahead.
Is by drinking cool nectarian water, even if only within the mind, a diseased person stricken by fever enjoys happiness as the distress of his thirst is quenched. So simply by chanting the glories of the object, one worships, one can attain peace. Yet when saintly persons claim without inhibition, they may feel embarrassed even in a secluded place. Commentary. In general, the tongue cannot fully describe everything going on in the mind. This is especially so in the ecstasy of Harinam Sankirtan. Vaishnavas engaged in Sankirtan may sometimes feel the urge to describe what is happening within their hearts, and although these matters are confidential, may sometimes by their words and bodily expressions disclose what should remain private, and this may leave them embarrassed even when there are no witnesses.
All right, this is very interesting. First of all, by drinking cool nectar, even only within the mind, a diseased person stricken by fever enjoys happiness as his distress of his thirst is quenched. Okay. So quite powerful. Is it a fact? That's what's being explained here. A thirsty person. We can try it next time we're thirsty. Is that what's being said here?
No.
Just by thinking of water, we can enjoy the happiness of our thirst being quenched.
I don't know. I think that when you are at that level, when your senses are, like you were talking about that Brahman, meditating and serving.
Yeah.
You know, when you're at that stage.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
You'll be able to control your senses and, you know, you'll be able to, yes, you'll get to that stage and you'll be able to, by just meditating, you'll be, you know.
Okay, so yeah, so luring to the meditation of a bhakta. So the meditating upon the service is considered to be non-different than physically actually taking part in a seva, manasa puja. Yeah.
Because aren't we told that when we can't do service, we can meditate, but we at present we would meditate kind of artificially.
Yeah, and that's what the example of the Brahman is there for in the nectar of devotion. Yeah, it's called replacement, an elaborate meditation when the opulences of offering Pacific puja might not be available, then one can do it within the mind. Yeah, okay, so I think So simply by chanting the glories of the object, one can worship and attain peace. And it certainly pertains, it's good to kind of, to try and understand what's being read, isn't it? Sometimes we just read things and we really can't work it out what it's saying. So it's good to pause and see if we can understand. Yeah, so when saintly persons chant without inhibition, it means they kind of become overwhelmed. Even in secluded place, become overwhelmed, obviously with revelation of the Lord. So Vaishnavas, especially in Harinam Sankirtana, may experience a great ecstasy. Yeah, sometimes, the general rule is that Vaishnavas will not exhibit their ecstasies. They will try their best to. They like to keep them confidential. Yeah. But sometimes they're overwhelmed. So sometimes it may come out in their words or bodily expressions. Yeah, so they become embarrassed. But there's I think perhaps Gopi Pranadhana is directly indicating his experiences, as we know, with Prabhupada. There's a pastime where Prabhupada was singing Jaya Radha Madhava in Mayapur, and he went into a trance of samadhi, and the whole atmosphere became surcharged with spiritual potency as Prabhupada was absorbed in this deep meditation. As if he was no longer aware he was even sitting on a vyasasana or sitting in front of hundreds of devotees. He completely went into a great ecstasy. And devotees didn't know what to do. Should they say, "Oh, Prabhupada," should they touch him on his shoulder to bring him out of his ecstasy so he can continue? But eventually Prabhupada came to his external senses. And devotees after that, they were debating amongst themselves what they should do when Prabhupada goes into such ecstasy. So then they approached Prabhupada later in the day or some other time. I forget who it was. And they asked him directly the question, "Prabhupada, when you go into ecstasy, as you did today, what should we do? Should we, bring you out of the ecstasy or..." And Prabhupada looked really embarrassed. That was the description that the devotees explained. Prabhupada looked completely innocent and even some sense of embarrassment that had manifested in public. And then Prabhupada said quietly, he said, "You should just chant Hare Krishna." But I remember that it was the devotee described Prabhupada looked embarrassed. So yeah, good example there, Prabhupada.
Well, we've heard of Govind Maharaj, haven't we?
Yeah, Govinda Maharaj. I actually, just before this, I just happened to come across that YouTube vid, which I shared a few months ago, of one devotee who was looking after Govinda Maharaj when he was in his trance of Bhava. But yeah, it happens to Vaishnavas. We pray it might happen to us one day. Hare Krishna. Okay, let's read on. Yeah, and now we 157. Any further comments from anyone? Please feel welcome to share. 157. Sorry.
I like this sentence. I mean, in general, the tongue cannot fully describe everything going on in the mind.
Yeah.
How
That's a fact, isn't it?
Yeah, so much going on in the mind, and you want to explain, you want to feel, but you can't.
Yeah. In other words, the language that the language that's available to us is not enough to communicate the ecstasy that one may feel within. There isn't words in a dictionary to fully give it to fully do it justice. We see the Goswamis and others, they give wonderful descriptions. They can, they're very knowledgeable. But yeah, language is often inadequate in expressing spiritual ecstasies and spiritual emotions. Yeah. So best thing to do is dance in ecstasy. Just put your hands in the air and dance in ecstasy.
I was thinking of one example when it's Radha and Krishna's, and is Krishna telling like Radharani's got a face is like the moon, and she was really upset. Moon? I mean, the moon's okay. Moon's got so much. No, she was dressed up and she was asking Krishna, how do I look? And then Krishna said, oh, you so beautifully explained everything about how beautiful. And then the face is just like moon. She said, what, moon? Moon's got so many spots, you know.
Yeah, so she took that as an insult in her loving,
Yes,
loving
yes.
peace. She became lovingly angry at Krishna.
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, let's look at 157. You can continue reading, Mother Vishalni. If anyone wants to read, you can put your hands up and you can.
I can read whenever nobody wants.
Okay, you can read another verse, Mother Vishalni. I've just read another 2 verses, yeah?
Okay. 157 translation. Meditation one can successfully perform alone in a secluded place, but Sankirtan either in seclusion or in the company of many others. Commentary. The Vaikuntha Dutas have great respect for the process of devotional meditation, yet their own favorite process is Sankirtan. Meditation is limited because to perform it, one must be in isolation so as not to be distracted.
That's a good point, isn't it?
Mm.
Sankirtan, like meditation, you're on your own private plane, you know? You're in your own little world. But Sankirtan, we share the joy of Krishna, of chanting Krishna's name. It's a shared ecstasy. And that pleases Krishna very much. You know, Sankirtan. Yeah. Carry on.
158 translation of the many ways to chant Krishna's glories. Foremost is his Nam Sankirtan. It is deemed the best because it can evoke at once the treasure of pure love for Krishna. Commentary. Besides Nam Sankirtan, chanting of the Lord's names, there are other ways of performing Kirtan, such as reciting the Vedas and Puranas, speaking one's own narrations of pastimes of the Lord, singing devotional songs, and offering prayers. Nam Sankirtan, however, is the best of all because it can at once independently awaken love of God in the heart. Lord Vishnu's messengers are personally convinced of this, and as implied by the unspecific expressions, what is it? Matam.
Matam.
Matam. It is considered. Okay. This is also the opinion of many other spiritual authorities.
Okay. So sometimes we may read to ourselves, read with ourselves. We may sing devotional songs by ourselves, offer prayers. But Nam Sankirtan seems like it has a special potency about it because it's the Yuga Dharma, I guess, that we can then feelings of love can be awakened. Of course, depends on the quality of that Nam Sankirtan, of course. But yeah, so if ever you're deciding what to do, go and join the Kirtan. join in the Nam Sankirtan. Must admit, sometimes I I defer to other types of devotional activities. But okay, Mother Chandravali, like to read from text 159.
I was also thinking, I don't know whether it's getting older or what, but you tend to want to do things peacefully on your own, like your spiritual life, like not run to kirtans, but rather do some reading, chanting, hearing on your own sometimes.
Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact. As devotees get older, they become more, as the devotees become more experienced and more older, and their chanting becomes more pure, then they can sit down and relish the holy name quite happily. So that's also there as well. And also, yeah, physically as well. And we see that a lot of our senior devotees, they're not able to dance as they used to dance. So they relish Krishna consciousness maybe in a different way. Yeah, with one or two friend Vaishnavas, one or two or three in a group, they may hear and chant, you know. So that, I think that's valid as well. Also, there's different types of kirtans as well, and that's another issue. There's the kirtans which we can maybe, some of us may relate to better. Like we have the Bhajana style kirtans as of late, isn't it? The last 10, 15 years or more, where someone's leading and 200 people sitting there, sitting down. Sometimes it gets a bit spirited. Devotees get up and dance. But sometimes, yeah, but on the whole, it's like a sit-down type bhajan, you know. Then you've got the Mahavishnu Swami Maharaj type of bhajans and kirtan, where it's just like ecstatic, but it seems to be very ecstatic, especially young people tend to really tune into that type of kirtan, you know, where you're dancing like someone possessed and, you know, really letting loose. Others prefer a meditative type of kirtan. But whatever it is, the main important thing is that those who are chanting are pure devotees, you know, at least pure in intention. Yeah, they're all serious sadhakas. So when serious sadhakas get together to chant the holy name, no matter what it may be, exuberant dancing, more meditative, it carries with it a great potency, you know. But yeah, what Mother Chandravali is saying is correct, I think, as well. Yeah.
And I also think that even like these days, the chanting, like the music is so, the instruments are so loud, but
Yeah.
okay for them to do that. But as they mature in their singing, they themselves will also realize they'll change their technique of chanting, you know.
Yeah.
Singing,
Yeah.
as one matures.
Yeah, kirtan's good for letting loose all the cobwebs of material life, you know.
Yeah.
It's good for shaking off the anarthas. You just jump in the middle of an exuberant kirtan and chant your heart out or dance your heart out. It's good shaking off the gloom of our material conditioning.
Especially,
So,
Yes,
Sorry.
Mother
sorry.
Lavanga?
I was going to ask a question about kirtan.
Yeah, go on.
Is kirtan like always good? You should never, like, if somebody's a really bad singer or they're just singing out of ego, I mean, would anyone have the right to challenge that and say, look, I know you're singing kirtan, but, you know, it should be more like this, or it should be a little bit gentler, or, you know, because people don't want to, because they think, oh, well, it's kirtan and,
Yeah, well,
you know, it's always good. Is it always good, or is there room for like adjusting you know, like if somebody's like not singing very well, or it's too loud, or it's, you know, I don't know.
I get the idea. Well, first of all, there's I forget the Sanskrit term, but there's at the stage of nam or the stage of ruchi, excuse me, then there's two types of ruchi. One is which one is dependent upon the excellencies. So when there is a good singer, when there is the instruments are being played on time and everything is, the setting is very nice, then one experiences great ecstasy. So, but it's dependent upon the excellencies. Another higher, deeper ruchi is where it's not dependent upon the excellencies, and one relishes great ecstasy, regardless of the type of kirtan it may be. Unsophisticated, not in tune. And Bhaktisiddhanta, he used to deliberately sometimes get, because some of his disciples were very expert singers, but some of them were really dreadful singers. So sometimes he would, to actually make the point about the holy name is not dependent upon, actually. It is self-sufficient. It can manifest. It's not dependent upon skill in chanting, singing. He would sometimes get those who couldn't sing properly to actually sing. All right. So that's one thing to consider. Now, as far as practically speaking, generally, if it's not our specific, if we don't have a managerial position or an authority, you better not, it's best you might not want to go there in trying to correct someone for their, because what I'm trying to say is that it may be a relevant instruction that that someone gets, where they can be advised on how to improve their chanting. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I mean, I don't really have a problem with any kirtan, but it's just that, you know, I mean, it seems like Jayadvaita Swami gives kirtan standards, and a lot of people don't follow it. So
yes,
it doesn't bother me, but I'm just thinking, is anyone on, do we have any particular standard that we follow, or is it just like anyone can do whatever they like, basically?
well, yeah. I mean,
Is there a kirtan manager at Soho?
I don't think there is. I, in the past, have sent that kirtan standard out a few times in the hope that devotees will read it and perhaps follow it as best as they can. But there should be, and I think sometimes if things are really going out of hand or incorrect and it's the wrong melody for Mangalarti, etc., then I do think that devotees are corrected and they are told. I mean, there's no one official who's kind of in charge of that, So sometimes you may see some things that go outside of what, may not be correct. So if you know the standards and you're familiar with the standards which are given, which is just Prabhupada's standards, then there's no harm in approaching the relevant person who might be able to speak to the devotees, Like, do you remember there's a few weeks ago, there's one Prabhupada disciple from Australia, Mataji. She came from Mangaladi. You remember? And then we asked, welcome, I forget her name. Anyone remember her name?
Gaia knows.
Yeah. And so someone just
Surabi Mother Surabi.
Yes, Surabi, yeah. So she didn't hold any punches. She, right after during the morning program, she was asked to say a couple of words, like, oh, I'm glad to be here. She gave about a 10-minute thing on how I kirtan, we was chanting the Maha Mantra incorrectly. So that's good. She's got the authority. She's a Prabhupada disciple. She's a senior devotee. So she kind of, she explained.
I'm sorry, can I add something?
Please, Mother Jamavati.
Yeah, I'm sorry for everybody because we know what I'm going to talk as always. What culture we propagate actually, and kirtan is our like presentable card, like business card, what we propagate, what we advocate, what message you want to send, and the way how we present it, how we do it, it's our message. The way how we behave, the way our culture, how we're dressed, and this is the most important. For me, the biggest disaster is still women with loose hair. And when they're singing or giving classes with loose hair, sexualizing, showing, learning, it's embarrassment. It's big embarrassment because what culture we are propagating? Is it Rakshasi culture, Surpanaka's culture, or divine culture, what Prabhupada did? Prabhupada's disciples never went with loose hair. Loose hair is dirty hair. Woman is beautiful when she's clean with tidy hair. If she's loose hair, it means she's dirty. So this is not the culture. This is not culture we propagate. This is biggest and marathon. Temple should inform at least those who sing. I understand we can't tell everybody. Everybody has right to come and welcome, but if somebody wants to take the stage, we should consider that it needs to be training or something.
Yeah, culture. Yeah. The
This
first.
is culture. This is biggest embarrassment. This is biggest embarrassment.
Yeah.
We can't, because Prabhupada said that we should not hear the holy name from mouth of materialistic or something. I can't translate now in English. Yeah? So this is important. So that's why what woman sexualizing herself and with loose hair and loose mind, because if you have loose hair, it means you have loose mind. You can't preach. You can't talk about God. You can't think about God. You understand? That's what message you can give. Singing in the temple in front of a deity. That's absolutely wrong. That's absolutely wrong. Absolutely.
Yeah, thank you for this very valid point. Yeah, sometimes I've seen the extremes of that. I mean, I won't go into the details, but there was one lady and she had to be banned from the temple. You know, the way she was dancing was completely out of order for a temple. She had to be told to not come. So yeah, and also as you were speaking, Bhajana, I was remembering that Prabhupada, when the disciples Mukunda, who was it, who came to Mukunda, Shamasundara, etc., who came to preach in London,
Gurudas.
Jamuna, Gurudas, etc., then they went to meet with Prabhupada in Canada before they came, and Prabhupada was telling them and teaching them how to present kirtan. Yeah, he showed them the Swami step, and he showed them the melody and the pace. It was all very gentle, all very nice, you know, to attract people. So just picking up on your valid points, Mother, but specifically I picked up on the point that especially when we're presenting kirtan outside to non-devotees, it should be done really nicely. Just like Indradyumna Maharaj takes this very seriously. Everyone is presented very nicely and it's all organized very nicely. Because it's as you said, it's our calling card or something like that. So it should be presented, yeah.
It's part of preaching.
Sorry?
It's part of preaching.
Yeah, it's part of the preaching. So sometimes devotees, sometimes it is quite like that. We are putting on a show when we go on the street. And sometimes sometimes devotees feel a bit disturbed about that but yeah, no, that's what we're doing. So we should be careful what we're doing. While we're on Sankirtana, we should try and dance nicely. We should try and dance in such a way that's going to make people attracted to stop and watch and hear. Of course, some people won't be attracted. They're more demonic. So
I want to say, look, Gaia, for example, she goes to school to collect kids. She brings them to swimming pool, to other activities. People will see her with neat, nicely put hair. And even she was approached to say, oh, you always have such a nice hair, nice, neat done, you see? And her daughter, she also follows that standard. She always goes with neat and nice hair. And if Gaia preaches something, people will accept because she preaches what she lives. She follows, you know? Yeah. And if we think about God or something, oh, this is sentiments. No, it means we're lying. It means we're lying. That's not true.
Okay, thank you, Mother. Hare Krishna. You should come and help me take Ladies Ashram leader. Train us. Okay. So mute. Okay, let me go. I have to mute someone. 1 second. Okay, I've just muted someone. Okay. Kirtan is our hearts, our life and soul. So these are all very relevant points that we're discussing here. All right, let's read on 159. I forget who is reading. I think Mother Chandravali. Is that correct? Yeah.
159. When relished with love in countless ways through service rendered constantly by the tongue, the nectar of Shri Krishna's name delights the heart. Who can describe the unequaled excellence of that nectar of Shri Krishna's holy name? Text 160. Though all names of the Lord are equally great, a devotee most quickly and easily achieves his goals by chanting the name that he himself holds most dear. Commentary. Since the Supreme Lord's names are all infinite in their glories, one name cannot be greater than another. Chintamani stone may appear in different forms, but they all have the same power. Any Chintamani can produce whatever a person wants. Nonetheless, if a devotee is especially attracted to a particular name, that name will most quickly and easily carry him to perfection. Thus, the devotee who favors the name Rama likes to cite the declaration by Lord Shiva, Sahasra Nama Tulyam Nam Varnani. My dear, beautiful wife, the name Ram is equal to 1,000 names of Vishnu. Padma Purana, Uttara 72.335.
Yeah. So our preferred name is Krishna. Yeah, that's generally called the Vaishnavas. We're chanting Krishna's name, but as all Vaishnavas may take vows to chant other names of the Lord. But the Maha Mantra is especially significant, being empowered by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, well, also Ram's it's Ram's there, isn't it? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we chant, we do chant Ram's name. It means Ram, also Lord Balaram, another name for Krishna. Okay. Yeah, devotees have different tastes. That's going to be mentioned next, Just like a feast, isn't it? Devotees have different tastes, or they like something in particular. So devotees same, they have a particular taste for different anga of bhakti, a different name of Krishna. There's many names to choose from. You have a big buffet to choose from if you want to chant Krishna's name. Many different varieties there. But we want to chant the name that gets us to Goloka Vrindavan. Yeah, carry on.
Text 161. Since people have different tastes, each name of the Lord is dear to one person or another. All the names of the Lord are therefore dear. Commentary. A doubting person might ask whether only some of the Lord's names are worshipped and others neglected. In fact, however, every name of the Lord has its devotees. The word he in this verse indicates that this is certainly true. Some Vaishnavas prefer one particular name of the personality of Godhead, and some are attracted to two names, three, or several.
Yeah, another popular name. Gauranga, 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 Nityananda, Nityananda, Gauranga, Nityananda, especially popular in Navadvip Dham. It's the chanting, loud chant of Gauranga, Nityananda. Yeah. And some devotees are really into that. Wonderful. Yeah. Okay, I've got to go muting again. Excuse me. Hey, just like playing space game, I have to. Oh, it's done it. Okay. All right, continue reading. Unless there's any questions or comments on this. It's quite a detailed discussion, isn't it, that we're reading here? Sanatana Goswami really gets down into the details of the angas of bhakti. Really good, wonderful discussion.
Okay. When the nectar of the Lord's name appears in just one sense, all the senses are flooded with their own sweet taste. Commentary. In this way, every enjoyment possibly is derived from Nam Sankirtan.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was Narad's experience when he had Dash, when the Lord appeared on the lotus of his heart. Every one of his senses were separately in ecstasy. Yeah, just by that vision within his heart, every sense became overwhelmed with ecstasy. This is what that quite inconceivable.
This shows how much potent the holy name is. You know, as we're reading, everything is coming from there. You know?
Yeah, we just have to let that potency act upon us by being attentive. You know,
Yeah.
we have to let it work. You know, by being free of the offenses. You know, then it can fully manifest its power. You know? And there's nothing wrong with the holy name. There's something wrong with us. You know,
That's it. Yeah.
the sun is always shining, but sometimes the clouds seem to obscure the sun, but the sun is always there. So similarly, our different anartas may cloud the glories of the holy name. Yeah. But the holy name is always completely pure. Namati Tamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha. Yeah. So even greater than meditation on the Lord is his Nam Sankirtan. This is the conclusion. Okay. Okay. 164.
163.
Freaks, carry on.
Appearing mainly in the sense of speech, the Lord's name gives pleasure to the chanter and to others. So even greater than meditation on the Lord is his Nam Sankirtan. 164. The Sankirtan of Krishna's name is praised as the best and most powerful means to attain the treasure of Krishna Prema. It is like a potent mantra that can attract precious objects from a distance. Commentary. If one wants the ultimate success in spiritual life, one must take shelter of Nam Sankirtan, as the Vaikuntha Dutas proclaim exuberantly in this verse. Srimad Bhagavatam describes how Nam Sankirtan nourishes the devotee. Quote, an intelligent person who has controlled his mind and conquered fear should give up all attachment to material objects such as wife, family, and nation, and should wander freely without embarrassment, hearing and chanting the holy name of the Lord, the bearer of the chariot wheel. The holy name of Krishna are all auspicious because they describe his transcendental births and activities, which he performs within this world for the salvation of the conditioned soul. Thus, the holy name of the Lord are sung throughout the world. By chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then, fixed in one's vow, as an eternal servant of the Lord, one gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of the Lord. As one's heart melts with ecstatic love, one laughs very loudly or cries or shouts. Sometimes one sings and dances like a madman, for one is indifferent to public opinion.
Yeah, any questions or comments there? Just checking these verses. Yeah, this is 11th canto, 3940. This verse is this is quite a well-known verse, this one. Yeah.
Reminds you of Bharat, doesn't it?
In what way?
Like, you know, he was so much in love with Krishna, that it didn't matter what he was, you know, what people thought about it, all the things he went through, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, I get the point. I guess you thought of him because it was mentioned. One cries or sings like a madman.
Yeah. And
So
he
yeah, okay. So Dad Barrett kept himself
as a madman, didn't he?
as a madman, you know. Hmm.
Okay. Does anybody else want to read? 165.
Shall I read?
Go ahead.
Okay.
On the,
Okay, 165. Because Nam Sankirtan invariably leads to the treasure of pure love for the Lord. True connoisseurs of devotional service consider Nam Sankirtan the very fruit of bhakti. Commentary. According to many pure devotees, Nam Sankirtan is not only the best means of devotional service, but the final perfection itself. Of course, prema is the final goal of bhakti, but Nam Sankirtan so quickly and infallibly leads to prema that the two are considered virtually identical. Wherever prema is seen to have developed, one can presume that Nam Sankirtan must have been performed. Nam Sankirtan is the necessary and sufficient cause of prema.
all right, that's quite interesting. That Nam Sankirtan and Prema are considered to be the same, isn't it? But it does depend upon the adhikar, or the quality, the purity of those who are chanting. My Guru Maharaj often recites the part in Chaitanya Charitamrita when King Prachaparudra, he was seeing the arrival of all the devotees from Bengal coming to Puri, all the pure devotees coming, and he could hear the Sankirtan. And just by looking and hearing that Sankirtan, he was experiencing great waves of ecstasy, of prema, and the way they was exhibiting their prema was just unprecedented. And he was asking, what is this? Who are they? Then I think someone was with him. Who was with him? Shava was explaining who the different individuals were in the Sankirtan. And it's, yeah, this is a special, and it was mentioned here, this is a special kirtan, because everyone who's taking part is a pure, unadulterated devotee of the Lord. So it has special potency. Yeah, so in that instance, prema is Nam Sankirtan, and Nam Sankirtan is prema. Yeah.
When sometimes we go for Nam Harinam or Nam Sankirtan or Kirtan,
Yeah.
and sometimes it's gone for so long that even the following day you're in that mood.
Even the following day, excuse me?
Yeah, you are still in the same mood as chanting.
Yeah. Anyone experienced that? Anyone else experienced that?
Yeah.
Especially when in kirtans, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours, and you go to sleep with a smile in your face, and you wake up with the holy name resounding throughout your subtle body. Tat Tat Bhava. Yeah, it's magical. It's a magical experience. Yeah. Unfortunately, our kirtan's relatively short in the temple, half an hour in the morning if you're lucky. But so it's good to occasionally, although we're doing bhajans in the evening now, isn't it? There's enthusiastic bhajans in the evening. But yeah, anyone else experience what Mother Vishali just described when you attending a bhajan or kirtan? It kind of resonates throughout your subtle body. 1, 2, or 3 days sometimes, 1 day, 2 days. You wake up in the morning and it feels like you're floating. All glories to the Sankirtan, the holy name.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, can I share my realization?
Yes,
I
please.
used to live in Amritsar, and I remember every morning about 5, maybe 4, 4:30, it was singing in Gurudwara every morning, and I used to live next to Gurudwara, 2 Gurudwaras actually. It was so amazing to wake up from the sounds of holy singing, and the way they sing, that gave me understanding how we should pray to Krishna, because they're singing like exactly like crying. I would recommend everybody to hear Shabbats, 6 Shabbats. That's exactly in the mood
What's it called?
that
Six
Prabhupada
Shabbat.
describes.
What's it called again? What word did you use?
Shabbat.
How do you spell that?
Uh, I don't know. I'll give you a link. But the mood they are singing, that brings me to meditation to Krishna. Every time I went to Golden Temple, I stayed overnight, and it was for me Vrindavan.
Right.
The temple, it was my Vrindavan. I could never imagine any better feeling, and the mood and devotees. I didn't see that verse 6. I saw devotees. So that it was, how to say, I got realization what I was meditating for. I would recommend everybody. It will lift up a couple of layers up.
Yeah.
It's amazing. I'll send you link. You can link. Go.
Okay. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but you know it's things from the mood. That's how we should
Yeah.
sing.
Yeah, the mood. Sometimes it's good. We can appreciate it in different spiritual traditions. I know the Sikhs, as you mentioned, they're quite big on kirtan, and it generally consists of names. It's the holy names of the Lord, you know. Also, other traditions you may come across, they're chanting the holy names. Sometimes you see gospel churches, you know, and they get quite ecstatic singing the glories of the Lord, and it can be quite inspiring. But you mentioned, good point you're mentioning as well is the mood. And the mood of our kirtan should be one of separation in love, you know, calling out to Krishna. Calling out. That's what makes kirtan very exceptional as well. If the right mood is there, we actually have a sense that we're crying out for Krishna and we're dependent upon Krishna. And then, yeah, that becomes very ecstatic. So thank you for sharing that, Mother Jambavati. Yeah, so we should learn to appreciate kirtan wherever it may be, whatever spiritual tradition it may be, you know. They're chanting God's name. It may not be the same names that we may be so familiar with, but different spiritual traditions will have their kirtan, you know. Yeah, so.
Especially in Punjab villages, they are like that.
Yeah.
Every village, they have this, and it's only one person. I mean, in one recording going. It's not so many that it confuses everybody.
There's
And
one.
everybody listens to the one
Bhajan?
way of doing kirtan.
Okay.
And other things are all quiet, so everybody is listening peacefully first thing in the morning.
Yeah. That's nice to do. I know in some temples, in temples that would be done to actually wake up the Lord, then there'd be nice kirtan, nice melody, and there's specific melodies which are suited for the early morning. At least that's one thing we have got down in ISKCON. Everyone follows the correct melody for the Mangalati and the evening arti. At least we got that down. But actually, it's quite deep. Actually, I got one devotee gave me one book with ragas for every part of the day. Because I'm not a musician, I couldn't really crack it open and kind of play the ragas. I'm not so expert musically, but I have a songbook which it gives the ragas for every hour in the day, because the ragas are there to invoke different emotions. It's quite scientific. That's why the raga is very important, because it helps to bring out the emotion. So the different ragas, very important. So those are really expert kirtaniyas. Like one such expert was Indra Babu. He was very expert at the different ragas in the different parts of the day, and the different ragas to invoke feelings of deep Vipralamba, you know, to bring out different emotions. There's ragas to bring out the joy of Radha and Krishna meeting, and there's ragas to bring out the transcendental misery of them being separated. And Indra would know those, and he would sing in those ragas. So that's why his chanting is especially appreciated. But yeah. It's not
Prabhu, could you
somebody
kindly
else's.
share these? That would
I've
be
got,
amazing.
I had it in a book form. I've still got it. I think I might have gave it to someone. I had it. It's all the melodies there in different parts. I try and. It's a book. It's got all chords in. It's got all the. But I don't read music, so I couldn't really work it out. So I might not be able to get that, Mother. Actually, I think it's gone. It's now not in my possession. But I had it at one time. Yeah, and for instance, there's descriptions. There's some wonderful description of the Ras Leela, where, of course, the most accomplished musicians, the most accomplished in the devotional art of singing, is the gopis. And they were singing ragas which are unknown even in the heavenly planets. You know, it's quite. There's hundreds of different ragas for all different emotions. You know, related to Krishna. So I'll have a look and see if I can dig it out. And I think it's gone beyond my. I think I borrowed it to someone, and of course it didn't come back to me. Hare Krishna. Let's, on that note of Nam Sankirtan, perhaps we'll pause there, shall we? And thank you. A lot of devotees were with us today for this reading of Bhagavatamrta. Thank you for being with us, and please join us next week, and we'll continue with text 166, and we'll hear more of the adventures of Gopakumar. Hare Krishna. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful
Hare Krishna.
devotional weekend.
Thank you, Hare
We look
Krishna.
forward
Hare
to the
Krishna,
session next
Hare
week.
Krishna,
Hare
Jai.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare